What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making some brown stew snapper. Now, I know there are plenty of ways to make this dish, but let me tell you something. The way that I do it reigns supreme, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of people use browning in order to make this dish come alive, and let me tell you why. I do like browning, but not for this purpose. Let me tell you what I use. Put this back here, and I'm going to show you what I use. This right here. Brown sugar. This kind of brown sugar. Jamaican choice Demerara brown sugar. And this is what I use to create my own browning. It's kind of like making browning from scratch. And you do get a touch of a sweet flavor, but it's not enough to make your dish super sweet to the point where you feel like you're eating sugar on your chicken. But the brown sugar method reigns supreme when it comes to brown stew anything. So let me get started on these ingredients. I got 3 snapper here. I got some flour, all-purpose flour will do. I got some onion. This is half an onion. This is 4 garlic cloves, red pepper, yellow pepper, green pepper. And then I got a mixture of all-purpose seasoning, seafood seasoning, and black pepper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just mix this around. So we have a nice mixture, and this is what we're going to use to season each fish. So I'm going to put this to the side. I got my fish right here. All right, so I got my snapper here. The first thing you really want to do is pat it dry. If you don't pat it dry, your fish is going to break apart inside of the oil when you put it in there. Not only is it going to break apart, it's going to stick to the pan, and that's what you don't want to do. So what I'm going to do right here is make a slit in the fish right here. So we got 2 slits on this side. Let's turn it over and make another 2 slits on the other side. All right, so we'll put that down there. We got our fish. We have our seasoning mixture. And now I'm just going to sprinkle our seasoning on top. Sprinkle it all over from the head down to the tail. Open it up, sprinkle the inside, turn it over, sprinkle, and just make sure you rub it in. So as you can see, this fish is nice and dry. Not an ounce of moisture anywhere. Put that one down. All right, so we got our 3 fish lined up here. They're nice and seasoned. We got our flour over here. I got my frying pan that I just washed out, so it's got water on it. But what I'm going to do is turn the fire on. Now you're going to need your fire on high for this. I got my stove turned on to between numbers 4 and 5. We're going to heat this frying pan up. When all of this water has evaporated and the frying pan is hot, we're going to add our oil. We got our fish still over here. We got our flour, and we're going to be good to go. Okay, so we got our frying pan. I am adding a cup of canola oil. And we're going to wait at least 2 to 3 minutes for this oil to heat up. Now this part is incredibly important. This oil has to be as hot as possible before you drop the fish into it. If you put fish into oil that is not hot, your fish is going to stick to the pot and it's going to break apart. So stand there for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Make sure that oil is hot, very, very, very hot before you put that fish inside. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is flour your fish. Let me get these two out of the way. Now, a lot of people feel like they don't need to flour the fish when they're making brown stew fish. But for me, I always flour my fish because it prevents the fish from sticking to the pot. Now, you can do it whichever way you prefer. I'm not saying you have to do it by my way or the way that I'm doing it. If you don't want to flour your fish, that is your business. But as for me, I flour my fish and then I fry it. That way I can be guaranteed that the fish won't stick to the pot. So here we go. We got one side floured. Now I'm going to just put the fish inside. There we go. And we're going to repeat the process. So we got our fish frying here, and we're going to fry this for approximately 5 minutes on each side before we flip it. So I flipped the fish onto the other side. I've got the stove on number 4 on the dial, and I fried it for 3 minutes on one side before I flipped it over to the other side. As you can see, our fish is not sticking to the pot. It's not breaking up. This is how you want your fish to look. This is not even a non-stick pan. And as you can see, the fish is not sticking to the pot. And this is what you want. One of my biggest mistakes when I was learning how to fry fish was that I would not use enough oil and my oil wouldn't be hot before I put the fish in there. And my fish would always break apart. It would always just look terrible. It would either stick up and then I would have trouble getting it out of the pot and it would break up. It was just a hot mess. But once I learned to put dry fish in hot oil, ain't no turning back since then. Look at how delicious this looks. Let me give you a close-up. See how delicious that is? And contrary to popular belief, you don't need to fry it in a whole bunch of oil in order to get it to fry. This is not even a lot of oil. This is a cup of oil, and it's getting the job done. All right, now it's time to take this fish out. Look how easily this fish comes out of the pot. Look, see that? Now we're gonna drain it on a paper towel. There we go. Let's go get our other fish. See how easily it comes out? Drain it on a paper towel. There you go. And then I'm going to fry the last one, and I'll show you how to make the brown stew sauce. So we got our last fish in here, frying real good. Listen to that sizzle. This is my favorite part of frying the fish. Frying fish is easy once you practice and you get the hang of it. All you got to do is practice. Once you get the hang of it, that's it. You be frying fish all day, every day. Except you probably won't want your house to smell, but, you know, it is what it is. Fried fish is the best. And, you know, I can eat this plain, just like this. I will tear this up. Put some hot sauce on this, and I will tear this dry fry up. I call this a dry fry. I will tear it up. Trust and believe. So now that we finished frying our fish, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to take our oil that came from the frying pan. We're going to throw off half of it. So off that. I'm gonna wipe out this frying pan, get rid of these bits and pieces. Now, this oil has a lot of good flavor, and that we don't want to get rid of. So I put about 3 tablespoons of oil back into the frying pan. This is the same oil that we fried the fish in, and this oil is very valuable because it contains a lot of flavor in here. You see these marks on the side of the frying pan? There's flavor in those, so you never want to get rid of that. All these brown marks, those contain flavor. Those are very valuable. So the first thing we're going to do is caramelize our brown sugar. I've got a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and I'm just going to pour it right in. So I got the sugar inside of the frying pan. We got our fire up on medium, and we are going to let this caramelize. Now, sometimes I like to just spread it around a little bit. And we're going to wait until the sugar fully melts. So as you can see, our brown sugar is beginning to melt. Now, the trick with this is to not let the sugar burn too much. If it burns too much, you'll ruin the dish and it'll become too bitter. So as soon as it begins to caramelize, all right, time to add them in. So what I'm doing now is just mixing it in, and now I'm going to add seasoning. Yes, we need to season this. We're going to get some all-purpose, some onion powder, garlic powder, some Old Bay or seafood seasoning, and season this baby up. All right, so I'm adding 2 teaspoons of all-purpose, a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of seafood seasoning. You see how nice that looks in there? We got the sugar already caramelized, our onions and peppers simmering, and now what I'm going to do is just add a cup of water. So here we are. Our fish is still over to the side. This is our fish off to the side. As you can see, our gravy is simmering. Looks delicious. It smells amazing, guys. This smells amazing. If you want to, at this point, you can taste the sauce to see if you like the flavor or if you want a little bit more seasoning. I do have some leftover seasoning that I was using to season the fish. I'm going to drop just a little bit in there because there's some flavor in there too. I'm going to stir this around a little bit. It's been about 3 minutes since we've been simmering this around. I'm ready to add my fish, and we're going to cover it and let it cook for another 10 to 15 minutes. Just putting our fish inside. All right, now we're going to cover this.
Mommy, make sure you cook everything for dinner, okay?
All right, so it's been about 10 minutes, and there is our brown stew snapper. Smells amazing. I did drop a Scotch bonnet pepper in here that I'm about to take out because I don't want it to become too spicy. Let me just get my spoon. I'm just going to remove this Scotch bonnet. And there we go. There's our dish.